Hi everybody, today we are with Mr. Haragi from San Jose State University to talk to the parents, explain a little bit about American international education. So Mr. Haragi, how you introduce yourself a little bit?
Hello, my name is Brian Haragi. I am the Associate Director of International Recruitment and Partnerships for San Jose State University. I've been in higher education industry in the U.S. for about 15 years now, and I've worked at both public and private universities. And currently, I'm at a public university, which is San Jose State, which has about 35,000 students, about 150 different programs, and it's really an exciting, vibrant university in the heart of Silicon Valley. So, yeah, it's exciting for me to be there and be around, the innovation of these days. Yeah.
Yeah. So you work. San Jose State University has its mystery among Chinese parents, because everybody heard this is a prep school for Silicon Valley companies, for Google and Apple. Is it true that many of your students actually go to Google and go to Apple? How does it feel, and how is that?
Well, no, it actually is true. We are our university is the #1 supplier of employees to Silicon Valley, and that does include number one supplier of any university in the world.
Any university in the world to Silicon Valley.
Into Silicon Valley, that's right.
Into Silicon Valley.
Yeah, and a large reason for this, of course, is our proximity in Silicon Valley, and the fact that a lot of our professors come from these companies like Google and Facebook. And,
yeah, so how close are you in Silicon Valley?
We are inside Silicon. We are in the heart of Silicon Valley.
In the heart of Silicon Valley.
Exactly. We're surrounded by Google and Facebook and Amazon and a host of other technology companies, and it's just great for our students that they have this access, to these companies through our instructors and also through our relationships and partnerships with these companies. And so our students will a lot of them will do internships and then do OPT, and then some of the very special ones, of course, will go on and actually get careers at these tech companies. So no, it's really there are so many very good universities in the U.S., but I think what really sets us apart is our location and the relationships with Silicon Valley.
Location.
Yeah.
So the student can get in touch, get to know the Silicon Valley through their instructors.
That's right.
So there are actually some industry experts teach.
Absolutely, yeah, and they come onto campus for job fairs and internship fairs, and yeah. So, like I said, the students have some really nice access to some really great worldwide companies. Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of students going into Apple or Google, I'm sure you have a lot of alumni. So any in particular in the number or notable alumni in those very known companies, because that's what the Chinese parents know.
Sure, of course, yeah. I'll have to dig that up for you, specifically for, and I'm sure I can find some Chinese alumni, definitely, excuse me, to showcase and feature.
Yeah.
But I think for Apple, for Apple itself, we may be the #1 supplier of students. It's either Apple or Google of employees. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So as Apple and Google, they are the top company. So a lot of Chinese parents are confused. Say, why don't they just hire from Stanford or Berkeley, those level 1 research R1 university, but you are a teaching type of, if you are master type of a university.
Right.
So why is that? If they can hire students all from Stanford, why don't they? Why do they prefer, or the fact that they have a lot of students from San Jose State?
Right. Yeah, sure. And I'm sure they do draw from those schools that you just mentioned. But one nice thing about being a master's university, as opposed to a research university, is that our master's students are typically taught in a way that's going to be very practical usage. So if you're doing a computer science master's, there's not going to be a lot of theory or a lot of research-oriented type of teaching. It's going to be very practical, very hands-on. You should be ready to go into a job as soon as you graduate, that type. So
it's a lot usable in terms of the employees.
Absolutely, right. So they know, these companies know that our students are going to go with the skills that are necessary to start right away. And you can imagine that because of our location as well, that those careers or those programs in computer science and software engineering are very competitive to get into. So yeah, they're very competitive to get into. So we're getting very, very good students in those programs. Yeah. So our students already start at a very high level. So a lot of them do have some very good success in the tech industry.
Okay. And also I heard San Jose State University is #1 in terms of international student numbers in the master university. Can you explain what are the master university and what's your role, your position in that group?
Okay, sure. Okay. So a master's institution basically means that the university will only award degrees up to a master's level.
Up to master level.
Right. So we have a bachelor's, and then we have a master's, and then
you don't have PhD.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Although that may be coming in a couple of years, but that's to be determined. Okay. So the way the California education system works is we have our California State University system, which is composed of 23 master's institutions. Okay, we take care of those programs and more practical focused, hands-on learning. And then you have the UCs, UCLA, UC San Diego, and so forth, which are research institutions. So they do have the PhD, and then they would have more of an academic focus, less of a practical, more academic, more of research oriented. Right?
Okay. So let me ask you a hard question. Okay. UC Berkeley is ranked very high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But San Jose State University is not ranked that high nationally.
Right.
So do you view that as a success or as a specialty or something? At least I'm a Chinese parent. I'm to send my kid to America to study. So why don't I just look at the national ranking?
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess it really depends what your goals are, right, for your child.
The child.
And I'm assuming that your goal for your child, of course, is to get a good education, but also for outcomes, to make sure that he or she is studying something that will have a return on investment as far as a career and lifestyle and so forth, right? So if you were just to judge a university by rankings, and typically it's research universities that get the rankings, because research and what professors do and papers they write and things like that is a big part of how a university gets rankings. So it often has nothing to do with the actual education of the student. It's more about
it's nothing to do with the actual education of the student.
Right.
It's about the paper and other.
A lot of it is very dependent. The ranking is very dependent on research, right? That the professors do, and the publications that they write. Okay. Again, nothing to do with the actual teaching, right? So that means that a master's institution really can't compete as far as rankings. We can only do what we do well, which is teaching. Right. Okay. And then there are rankings that are given to departments. San Jose, our engineering department typically is number 3 or number 4. Depends on the ranking service, of course, but it's often ranked very high, as well as the computer science is also ranked high. So you really have to look at the university and see how good their programs are, if they are ranked, and what the outcomes are for the students. Where do they go work? You know, what types of careers do they have? That's really where I would do a lot of investigation as a parent, rather than just looking at a ranking and say, hey, good ranking, okay, go there. It may not be the right place for your son or daughter because it may be very theory and research oriented, where you might want them to learn something more practical.
Yeah,
right?
Not all the students want to do research of computer science, but a lot of them want to get a job. Yeah.
Absolutely, right. So if that is indeed your goal, then then you really should take some time to look at universities that you may not look at first because of you see the U.S. News and World Report ranking and you haven't considered a university, but if you dig a little deeper, you might find some really, really excellent universities that don't even participate in the rankings.
I see. So I think the fact that the Googles, the Apples hire a lot of the San Jose State University students, that says something about the outcome.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what we talk about, and honestly, that is a big reason why we do have a lot of international students. It's very attractive, for students from other countries to come to a place that's exciting and innovative, and one of the tech capitals of the entire world. I like to say the entire known universe, right?
Yeah, entire
right.
world, yeah.
But it's very exciting to be in that, to be around people on a daily basis who are, working on startups and are very creative and innovative. It's an exciting time to be in that location. It really is.
Yeah, so the student gets this really immersive experience inside Silicon Valley.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, very exciting right now.
Yeah, and also I heard that your tuition rate is quite reasonable. It's only 16,000 or 18,000.
That's right.
A year. So can you talk about?
Sure. Yeah, because we're a state university. We are allowed to, come in at a lower cost for our international students. So the bachelor's programs typically are close to a little bit over 17,000, and the master's per year. Yes,
per year.
Okay. And then the masters come in at about 16,500 per year. So about 33,000, 34,000 for the actual program,
So
two-year program.
Oh,
Absolutely,
okay.
right. So which is very reasonable, and I think really for return on investment, it's really we're doing very well.
Yeah, for return on investment, because the students are very, very likely to get a job in Silicon Valley.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And tell us more about some parents ask about the career service, or what the school would help the student to get into the career, get into the field, to help them to get internship, get a job.
Right.
Are there any specials? Are there some specialty at your school?
Well, the best thing we do, I think, is our job fairs. We of course we have our career services offices, and they help equip the students with certain skills, and they do interviews with them to help them practice, and also writing samples and things like that, resume work and so forth. But we actually get these employers on the campus to meet with our students and hopefully set up some type of internship or job opportunity in the future. And I think that's very valuable. And it's I always know when that day is, because there's always this line going out the door from this one building. I actually work in that building. From this one building, and the students are dressed very nicely, but it's an exciting time, and we do it at least twice a semester. A lot of schools,
twice a semester.
Yeah, a lot of schools will only do it one time a semester, but this last semester we did it twice. Yeah.
Okay, can you give the parents some names of the company come to the job fair?
Sure. Cisco was there last time. Yeah, we do. On occasion, we'll see somebody like a Google will show up as well. We'll see financial services. Transamerica will show up, and just a host of other tech companies as well. I mean, it's always varies a little bit.
I see.
From time to time, but
So I heard San Jose is fairly expensive. Are you a residential campus or or can the student live on campus, or they find their own living apartment?
Right. So we do have student residences on campus, and they're actually very beautiful. They were built just about a year ago. They remind me kind of like a resort tower, actually. It's really nice because when they leave their dormitories, there everything is right there for them. Their classrooms are right there within minutes walk. Yeah.
Okay.
So for the first year, freshmen must live on campus.
They must live on campus.
Yes. So they have a whole freshman experience.
Okay.
After that, then they can choose whether or not to live on campus. Right.
I see.
Graduate students, they're a bit older, so they can make the choice. And typically, students will live with other students, especially after the first year. They've made friends, and sometimes they'll move off campus. So they'll share housing. I mean, housing in San Jose can be a bit expensive because of, it's Silicon Valley.
Like how expensive? Like one bedroom apartment, maybe.
One bedroom, and that person wants to live by themselves.
Is that not normal?
I would say typically you probably
have roommates.
Yeah, students almost always have roommates. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I would say probably if you have roommates, you're probably looking at maybe for the apartment maybe $700 to, I guess sky's the limit, to $1,000 maybe.
$1,000 per person.
Per person, yeah, depending on what how nice it is and all of that. But and how many roommates you have, of course, right? I mean, it's typical in college, of course, to have 2-bedroom with 4 people living there. 2 roommates in each bedroom is very typical.
Yeah, that's college.
Yeah, that's college. Yeah.
So if students come here for graduate school, do they have option to live in a dorm? They have to apply. There's process, or they are not allowed to.
Right. Well, we have separate graduate housing for them, and it's more like an apartment situation.
I see.
Yeah, so they have that option, or they can live on their own. I mean, a lot of our international students truly, they often will live with family, or friends. Okay. Because there's, as you know, I mean, there's a huge Chinese community in Silicon Valley, right?
I see.
As well as India as well. I mean, there are several countries where we have really large populations. And,
I see.
And so students will come in to help with costs and things like that. Their second year, if they're in bachelor's, they'll live with maybe some family or friends. Yeah.
I see. So how big is university? How many students, and how many international students? Can you describe a little bit about this? Student body.
Right. So we have about 35,000 total students.
Okay.
About 27,000 of those are bachelors, and then the rest are masters.
I see.
Right.
So you have a very significant amount of students are masters.
Yeah, it's 40%. A fair amount.
Okay.
It's a fair amount. Yeah.
Okay. And how many international students are there?
Right now we have over 3,000 students.
Over 3,000
on campus. Yeah. Oh. Right. We have probably about 2,000 plus more doing OPT or
plus that. Okay.
Yeah. In addition, right?
I see. So with the 3,000, it is probably the #1 campus in the U.S. on the master.
I believe in 2018 it was.
2018 it was. Wow.
Yeah. In 2018 I believe it was #1. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great success. Okay. So I also heard that the computer science program at San Jose State is very hard to get in. So are there some specialty? Are there the programs? Are there some programs that are suitable for international students, but not that so hard to get in?
Right.
Can you give some recommendations when the parents that choose majors, particularly about your school?
Sure. Right. Well, at the bachelor's level, of course, they would want an SAT score that is quite good, especially in quantitative. Right. Okay. Absolutely.
Like how good they need to be?
Well, it's interesting because that's it. Because it's a competitive major, 1 year it could be 3.7, next year it could be higher, it could be lower. It really depends year to year what the competition is.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. So as is it very hard to get into your computer science, or they're actually related computer system or data analysis, or how are the majors and colleges in your school?
Right. Yes, I would say the most competitive degrees would be computer science and software engineering, and that's because those students will see those as sort of a direct pathway to Silicon Valley jobs, right?
To the jobs.
So, right. I mean, we have a number of other degrees that aren't quite as competitive. We have a mathematics degree where the student can earn a major in mathematics and a minor in computer science.
Oh, major in math.
And they actually are getting the same skills as a computer science major would get to go into the tech industry.
Okay.
So it's kind of sort of a secret way into, if a student didn't get into computer science, they could still take the same courses and get a very similar background to someone if they go through the mathematics and then the and then computer science minor.
So the math department is a lot easier to get in than to go to computer science.
Definitely, it's quite a bit easier, but we'll see if this secret kind of gets out. But actually, we're promoting it, so hopefully students will take advantage of it if they weren't able to get into computer science, or maybe they started in mathematics and they've decided they want to shift.
I see. So regarding the graduate programs, I know you offer a range of graduate programs. Are there anything special or anything that is? I know your computer science program, very known.
Sure.
Are there other hidden secret that other majors that very good major, got good job placement, but people don't quite know about your school?
Right. Yeah, well, our aviation is ranked very high. That's another
aviation.
Yeah, aviation.
So the student will
become a commercial pilot, or they will
become pilot.
Yeah,
they fly the airplane.
Absolutely right. Okay. Or they can work in operations as well, right?
Aviation program.
Yeah, okay. And that one is they're looking for some good students, and we have some. We have room. We have room there, and our price point is very good if you compare it to lots of other aviation schools. And we've got a very high ranking as well.
What a high ranking?
Yes,
aviation.
Very high ranking. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's I would say that is definitely a hidden gem, and I would expect to see that fill up in the future.
I see. Good. And also, Brian, I know you work at private university, public university. So, as a Chinese parents want to send kids to here, how do they choose private or public or small or big? Now you are at the big public, but I know you work at small private school. So any advice, suggestion you can give the parents?
Yeah, it's really interesting because they can be very different. Where you may a public university typically will be of good size, will typically be larger, and there will typically be more activity and energy. Whereas if you go to a private, it's usually like on beautiful grounds, and it's a bit quieter. I think, I mean, there's just a different feel. A lot of it is, dependent on personality, I think, Okay. I think the privates they tend to be a bit smaller. Although there are bigger privates as well. I mean, like a USC is quite huge, but I mean, there's so much variation really, even among privates and even among publics, around the United States. But honestly, a lot of it will just depend on, if the programs are offering and the location feel right, feel like the right fit for the student, and the parent feels comfortable as well. Is there opportunity also, or is the private in the middle of nowhere, but it's very safe, but it's in the middle of not a lot of big companies, but the school might have connections with there's so many considerations, really.
Yes.
And the publics do tend to be in, larger areas as well. So there do tend to be opportunities around.
I see. So like San Jose, it's right inside the city.
Yes.
San Jose. Okay.
Yeah. So, right in the middle of the city. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Are there any questions about your school or your program, or you want to say but I haven't asked yet? Anything you want? Because all the parents listen.
Right. Yeah, I know from the parents' point of view, it's I think you're definitely looking for those outcomes, and that is definitely something that we offer, and a big reason for our success. The area is quite nice as well. I mean, as a parent, if you want to go visit a nice area and enjoy yourself in California and spend a few extra days with your son or daughter, that area is quite nice. We're fairly close to the beach, and we're close to San Francisco, and there are lots of nice activities to do. So as a parent, I think it's a great place to visit.
They are Chinese parents. They don't care that much about beach. They care about if their son can possibly get into Apple or Google or Cisco.
Yeah, right. No, I understand. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, but after a few years, it is nice to be able to visit them somewhere where it's not snowing or rainy, or yeah, I mean, I guess the key words would just be opportunity and innovation, and outcomes.
Outcomes, yeah. Outcomes is very important. Yeah, because for the research type of kids, they go to PhD, they go to research university.
Right.
But for the professional master, the students, I think the outcome is what job you get.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And that's exactly, again, what the university excels in. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay. I hope this is enlightening to a lot of Chinese parents, and
hopefully.
I'm happy to participate.
Yes, great. Thank you very much.
Sure.